Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I am thrilled to introduce you to the amazing Katie Pulsifer, who is a master certified coach and the creator of the Golden Coaching Certification. Katie has 13 plus years of experience, including 5 as an executive leader at the Life Coach School, where I was lucky enough to meet Katie, and she was actually my boss there. Katie trained thousands of coaches. And now through her program in private coaching, she's building a global community of highly skilled, compassionate coaches who are ready to claim their power, earn abundantly, and leave their legacy. What's so inspiring about Katie and her journey is that she was once doubting her entrepreneurial gene and is now a successful 6-figure coach and entrepreneur. So we're definitely going to discuss this shift on the episode from being kind of that employee mindset into an entrepreneur. And we're going to talk about how her philosophy of being whole, wise, and worthy shaped her success and how it can inspire anyone who's doubting their entrepreneurial path and ready to embrace a new identity. So let's dive in. Welcome, Katie. Thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you. My cheeks are already hurting. I'm smiling so much.
So this is like full circle because
Yes.
I have to say, so Katie has done so much within the coaching program that I got certified in that really, truly changed my life and helped develop me as a coach in such a big way. And I'm just so grateful that you were such a huge piece of that, because that was such an amazing part of my life. And then I was lucky enough to come in and train, and you oversaw all of that. And I just love the way that you held such a big position and you always held it with so much grace and love and soulfulness. And it was always such a pleasure and honor to be in your world. And I just loved working with you. And I love that we're continuing the magic together, and the journey just continues.
Yes. Yeah. You're right. It was such a big position, but it was so fun to meet all of the different people in it, whether they were contractors like you helping create amazing coaches or the students themselves becoming coaches, but meet each one as the individual that they were and are, and then help them find their best path in this work, whatever that may look like. So even though it was big and there were a lot of people and a lot going on, the special part was all of those individual connections.
So you've been on so many different sides of, like, you've been a coach, you are running your own coaching certification, you helped grow one of the biggest coaching certifications in the world. You've really made such an impact on the world in terms of developing coaches. And I'm curious, what is it about coaching and developing coaches that just lights you up?
Well, I firmly believe that coaching can change life outcomes. And so just knowing that, I just want to spread that message as much as possible. And it doesn't necessarily have to be dramatic, huge life outcome changes. That doesn't have to be that, but it could just be an internal shift towards more peace, more contentment, more kindness, less critique and judgment and harshness. And in a world that is already giving us a lot of that, if we can change that conversation that we have with ourselves on the inside, and coaching can help us do that, I just feel like I want to tell everyone about that possibility, that there's just a whole different kind of relationship you can have with yourself that's available. And a few tools will help that shift very, very quickly. So
how did you find coaching?
Oh, I found coaching at a time in my life when I was spending a lot of time crying on the bathroom floor, to be honest with you. 2012, and my first marriage was unraveling unexpectedly. And I had been married for 17 years at that point. And my career that I had been in for almost 25 years was not turning out to be what I thought it would be. Like when I looked at my future, it was like nothing that I thought was going to come true
Yeah.
was going to come true
Yeah.
all of a sudden. And therapy helped me immensely
Yep.
through the toughest of those moments. And then a cousin of mine recommended a coach to help me with what's next. And having been a person that didn't really know that you could be in charge of what's next,
Yeah.
I just thought what's next got delivered to you and then you just made it work. So that was 2012. I met my life coach and
The
here we
rest
are.
is history.
The
That's
rest is
how it happens.
history.
A lot of times it happens with that moment
Yes.
of crying on the
Yes.
bathroom floor,
A
but then it ends
lot
up
of, yeah.
being the biggest gift ever to
Mm,
find it and learn about it and then dive into it
mm,
for the rest of our lives. So that's magical. I
yes.
love that so much. And I'm sure coaching has helped your more recent shift of going from working within a company to becoming an entrepreneur. And I know that you had mentioned before that you used to think you didn't have an entrepreneurial gene.
Hmm.
And so I'd love to hear more about that, of what your thoughts were, what your thought of who entrepreneurs are and who they're not, and why you thought it wasn't for you. And then we're going to, of
Mm,
course, talk about how you overcame that. But I'd love to
yeah,
hear
yeah.
what were you thinking the entrepreneurial gene was?
Literally that you were just something that you were born with.
Okay.
It was like a skill set. It was a way of looking at the world, a way of holding yourself, a way of having conversation, a way of doing sales naturally, effortlessly. That
Yeah.
was my opinion. And I had a business I started in my 20s. I had my own retail store for a couple of years and ultimately closed that. So I had this evidence.
Mm.
See, you're not an entrepreneur. And then when I left my corporate career and that first marriage ended and I had fallen in love with coaching, I was like, I've got to do this work. And I did it for 2.5 years with some degree of success, but in the background, it was like, you're not an entrepreneur. You didn't get that entrepreneurial gene, remember? I don't know.
Mm.
This is really, really, really hard.
Yeah.
Really hard. So there was a lot of I'm missing something, even though I understood coaching principally and
Yeah.
that thoughts become things.
Yeah.
Here I am coaching people. I didn't really understand that I didn't get the entrepreneurial gene. I didn't realize that was a thought.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
just truth, as if that was real. And I was very bought into that thought, which was amazing because that thought landed me the job at the life coach school. So I'm not mad at that thought. Because I had it, I was a candidate at the life coach school that was incredibly loyal, dedicated to serving in someone else's business. I wasn't ever looking to leave. I was like all in. So there's this part of me that I love that I had that thought
Yeah.
because it gave me one of the greatest experiences of my career.
Yes.
And it turns out that's not a great thought to have when the life coach school changed direction and they no longer needed my role or me.
And you had a soul calling to coach and do this
Yeah.
work.
Yes.
And
But
there
I
you were
still had
maybe
that thought.
presented with, oh no, like what's the opportunity then if I no longer have this? Is that what ultimately like allowed you to start challenging that belief, or is that what revealed it?
I knew the belief was there,
Okay.
and I knew that my work would be to unbelieve that belief.
Yeah.
I knew it. I also knew, yes, I'm going to have to learn a whole lot of things about marketing and entrepreneurship. Yes, that didn't seem hard to me at that moment. Or immediate. The focus became this thought has to go.
Mm.
I cannot bring this thought into my future because what was also emerging and true was I never want to work for someone else again. I want to be in charge
Yeah.
of my legacy.
Yeah.
I want to be in charge of my future, of what my day looks like. And I had given, 13 years to a corporation. And then I had given 5 years to the life coach school. Both experiences I'm proudly, proud and grateful for. But at this moment in my life, I want to be in charge.
Yep.
And I knew the only way for me to create my legacy, my path, my purpose was to go to work on that thought and let it
Yes,
go.
because you can't hold both, right? It's not going to
No,
work
yeah,
to hold. I want to create my own legacy. I don't want to work for anyone else. And I don't have an entrepreneurial gene. It's like competing intentions. They don't work
yes,
together,
they
right?
absolutely do
Yeah.
not.
So it's one or
Yes.
the other. It's like, which one do we want here? And,
Hmm.
obviously you felt very called to create your
Hmm.
business.
Mm.
So can you give us some insight into how you have worked on dismantling that belief?
So it often for me, whenever I'm doing work like this, it's a combination of journaling. It's also a combination, it also just not being in a hurry, asking myself questions like, what if I'm wrong about this?
Yep.
What if that's no longer true? What if something else is true about me? But what I found this time as well is that I wanted to put myself in the company of people that would help me hold the belief. And so I found your program, for example, and others where it's like, I just want to be in the energy and in the space and in the conversations with people that are going to help me believe in this as much as I want to.
Ah,
And that was profound for me
yeah.
this go around
Yeah.
was like, oh, we're all in on this belief together.
Yes. That is so powerful and necessary, I think, is to have people who are rooting for you and who are believing the same thing, even doing the same work alongside you. It's just, there's nothing like it. It's so powerful, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
what are some of the things that you have, as you've become an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, in a quite short period of time, really? What is it now that you see that you're like, surprised by in terms of, or is there anything that you're surprised by in terms of, oh, I thought in order to be an entrepreneur, you had to be X, Y, or Z. Here's what I've learned now that I am that.
Well, I don't, maybe surprise isn't the right
Mhm.
word. So, and I'm not sure what it is yet, but I'll give you my answer and then we'll figure out what it is. There is so much freedom in entrepreneurship, and there really isn't one way. And those two things are maybe surprise is the word that
Yeah.
I keep learning those over and over and over again.
Yeah.
That it really does get to be my way. My business gets to look like the way I want it to look like. It can feel the way I want it to feel. It can have my values, my personality, my vibe, my terms and conditions. I don't know, my
Hmm.
policies and procedures. I get to be in charge of all of it. And that there's so much freedom instead of constantly trying to conform into. And maybe this is what
Yeah.
plagued me in the past. There is a version of an entrepreneur that's successful and it looks like this, and I need to become that.
Yeah.
You tell me, is that a surprise?
I mean, maybe it's a surprise, maybe it's been revealed, I'm not sure, but
Hmm.
yeah, that's so powerful because I think, I mean, I've had the exact same experience where I thought in order to be an entrepreneur, you have to look like this or be like this, or you can't have this personality trait, or you have to hide this part of
Mm,
you. And
mm,
what I actually realized is the opposite is true. It's like, for me, I've realized the more me I am, the more me I can make it, the more successful it's going to be,
yes.
And I think I
Yes.
used to think the more I conform, similar to you, the more successful I would be, or the more I became
Hmm.
more like that person or that person. So, yeah, it's such a beautiful thing. And I think for some people, it can be a little scary too, in that it's like, oh, this is gets to be my way, but what is that? And what does that look like? And that freedom can also be a little bit like, I wish I had a, path in front of me. I wish I had a plan. Is there any part of you that felt that way? Or, how do you hold that this is all like you get to create it all and you get to do it in your own way, but there isn't a exact one,
Mm.
two, three step.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is a bit scary. And I think also when we get exposure to really successful people that we deeply admire and respect, we all often can think, well, to do it well, we have to do it exactly like them.
Yeah.
And so we talk ourselves into that sometimes, and breaking loose from that and saying, no, I'm going to chart my own course. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do it a little bit differently, but I don't have any example of it out in front of me to let me
Yeah.
know it will work.
Yeah.
That can be very isolating. I think that's when I just double down on my coaching. You've coached me. I've like really gone all in on my coaching and my support of myself, like really, really resourcing myself. That's often when I'll slow down and give myself more time to make decisions or allow myself to really imagine unintended consequences or just not be in a hurry, sit with things, and then take a step forward, if that makes sense. In a way
Totally.
of saying, I know I don't see this, an example of this anywhere. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
We're still going to give it a try because it feels like a whole body yes to me. That's the other thing I do. It's like, I know my whole body yeses pretty well at
Oh,
this point.
so important, so good. And I do think
Yeah.
that's an effect of that coaching and going inward and taking that
Hmm.
space. You do start to learn what your yeses are.
Yep.
And that's, yeah, it's everything. So, what do you think if you were the you now, if you were to talk to the version of you 2, 3 years ago who was thinking, I don't have an entrepreneurial gene, but also is
Hmm.
maybe in this space of what's next, what would you
Hmm.
want to tell yourself?
You did it beautifully. Yeah. I mean, I really feel that way. I was devastated to lose my job at the life coach school. It was very, very painful. And that took a while to heal and recover from and just grieve. And I gave myself the time to do that. And then there was a whole lot of experimentation, building a business from basically scratch. And I let myself change my mind a lot. And I'm really glad I did. And I learned a lot about myself in the way that I want to work, what felt good. I didn't get too attached to anything, which I also really appreciate. So I think my instincts were spot on. That's what I would tell myself. Like I did a pretty great job, and my instincts were spot on to take my time, experiment, heal, and find my way to do
Yeah.
this.
And one of your core philosophies, I want to talk a little bit about your way, which your core
Mm,
philosophy, one of your core philosophies is that we are whole, wise, and worthy. And you come
mhm,
back to that, right? And you teach that.
mhm.
And so I'm curious how that knowing, I'm not even going to call it a belief, but I imagine it's just a knowing, has
Yeah.
impacted your ability to show up in business and create your certification program and create your coaching business.
So, I mean, I love to say that I know enough about business. Like I know just enough to do it almost, and then I'm always going to get a little bit in trouble, meaning I don't know all the steps yet. I don't, I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to have typos. I mean, it's all fine in the
Yep.
big scheme of things. But I care more about getting my work in the world and
Yeah.
helping people heal and feel better and achieve whatever their vision and goal is for their lives, that I'm willing to stumble on my way to helping them make that happen.
Yeah.
And I can do that because I truly believe, not perfect, not flawless, not without being prone to mistakes, but that I am a whole person
Mm.
trying to do the best she can with what she has today, that I'm wise. I come up with the best answer I can in the moment
Yeah.
with the information that I have, and worthy. Like, I'm here to make this impact at this moment my
Yeah.
way. And when I return to that, the mistakes, yeah, they're a little devastating here and there, mostly embarrassing,
Yeah.
right? Like it's so embarrassing to send out the wrong Zoom link or not be able to figure out the chat feature on a webinar. I mean, it's embarrassing.
We've all been there.
And I'm fine. Like I'm so fine.
Yeah.
I can be with myself on the other
Oh
side
my
of that
gosh.
mistake, which that's what this is.
Yeah.
It's like taking a lot of risks, putting ourselves out there, trying, failing, and sitting with ourselves on the other side of it to be in and do it all over again the next day, usually. So,
Yeah. That's
mm,
everything. It's coming from abundance. It's coming from
mm,
fullness, right?
mhm,
And when
mhm.
we come from that place, creating is so very different than when we come from fear and scarcity and not enoughness and, just complete doubt. And
Yes.
I'm sure because I know our primitive, we don't typically come into the world and our primitive brain isn't usually developed to believe that we are whole and worthy and wise. I've typically found with people that's a practice to remind yourself of that, to know
Hmm.
that, to come back to that. Do you have practices that have helped you or a way that's helped you kind of come back to that or how you bring this into business? Or any suggestions for anyone who feels like, oh,
Mm.
I'm so far off from that. I'm so hard on myself. And I really don't, I feel like I'm not enough. And that's the place I've been growing from. I'm just curious if you have any words of wisdom around that.
Well, I would immediately normalize it. I think that is so common, and I have definitely, definitely worked on that myself. And there are days that I still can't find purchase in I'm whole, wise, and worthy. And I think that will always be that way in my lifetime, but I try and get myself there to the best of my ability as often as I can. So I usually start my day without looking at my phone
Yeah.
or my computer or anything for a good hour. I make sure that what I put into my brain at the beginning of the day is uplifting and positive. You are often in my ear, your podcast or your program recordings or other books that I'm reading that inspire abundance, possibility, hope, love. I'm just trying to feed a lot of really positive things into me first thing in the day. That makes a huge difference. I spend a lot of time outside as much as I can. I find that to be really, really grounding. And I just give myself what I know I need most, which is often a lot of solitude and time to reflect and process and also just surrounding myself with people that are going to help me remember what I want to believe about what's possible.
Yeah.
So, people who are also, whatever they may be working on a path to pursuing their whole, wise, and worthy version as well. So,
So, yes, it's a practice. It's a muscle, right? It's something that we have to keep coming back to. And it's so beautiful
mhm,
that you have this toolbox here. Actually, we're
mhm,
talking about it. One thing came to mind because I hear this all the time where people feel like I have my own solitude practice. Like I do my journaling, I read, I listen to the podcast, I'm in coaching, or in the
yeah.
movement. But the one thing that they struggle with is actually meeting like minded people. And sometimes they're
Mm.
like, I don't know. They're not in my town. They're not in my area. How do you do that? Do you have, I'm just curious, what would you say in terms of manifesting that? Because it sounds like you have created a beautiful community for yourself. How have you found those people?
Well, there's so many in the movement for sure. You know that. And I
Yeah.
think, it sometimes requires us sending a message out. And I've been doing that a lot in this year in particular,
Yeah.
just sending messages to people that write things, say things that are uplifting or inspiring or helpful.
Yeah.
And I have developed the most incredible friendships with people. We'll have a Zoom date, and it was like, oh my gosh, talking to you has profoundly shifted something in
Yeah.
me, or I learn something new about a way to do this work in the world, or I get an idea for one of my Substack newsletters or
Yep.
things like that. And so I've been and this is probably new for me, but I think those of us who have our businesses, it's a little lonely and isolating
Yep.
sometimes. I have been on a mission to reach out and talk to people more. And I'm instigating a lot of those conversations. And I'm going on whole body yeses,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's like, oh, I love this post, or I love that podcast episode, or I love this program or this community or what you said there. And I've had that happen with people in the movement
Oh,
where they send a message and it's like, gosh, I have to know you. You're extraordinary,
yeah, yes. Sometimes it just takes that courage. It does take courage
It's
because it's
courage.
not,
Yes.
it can be scary to reach out, but it's also the best thing ever. And I think that's how
Hmm.
friendships are developed. It's the courageous action piece
Yes.
that we don't
Yes.
tend to think we need. We're just like, let's just magnetize them, which of course that can happen, but oftentimes it takes initiation. And on the
Hmm.
other side of it, it's so beautiful. And I love how you actually hold that as like one of your practices, because the people we surround ourselves by and with matter. I always say it's like the actually lazy way of doing thought work or manifestation, because if we have people around us who have a
Mm.
lot of beautiful thoughts, we take those
Hmm.
on naturally. We don't even have to do the inner work. Like we just naturally kind of are taking on the thoughts of those surrounding us. And so it's an amazing thing to have
You're
that as
so
part of it, right?
you're
Yeah.
so right. As you were saying that, I was thinking you can just feel your energy
Yep.
change. Like
Yep.
the cells in your body start changing when you listen to somebody who is captivating, or in particular talking about what they see as possible for themselves. It's
Yes.
like, oh God, like everything within you just starts to rearrange and kind
Yeah.
of like take on a new direction. It's really cool how
When
that
they
can
see it in
happen.
themselves, they can see it in you too.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful
Hmm.
mutual thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
Thank you for sharing that because I know a lot of people have that question. So that's going to be helpful. So I'm curious. I have a couple last questions. I'm wondering, do you bring manifestation or spirituality into your business?
All the time.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
You should see my collection of vision boards. Yes, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yes. And I bring it into my work with my clients too. We
Yeah.
talk, I love I love bringing it in lots and lots of places.
Beautiful. And I'm
Hmm.
also curious how, because I know you've been in the movement for a little bit now, how, since being in there, has that shifted your relationship with abundance or your money mindset in any way?
I don't think I've shared this with you before, but when it was a full body yes to join, when I did at the beginning of this year, and the reason why I realized is felt like I was coming home to myself
Mm.
because much of your work reminds me of my first coach, who was the one that helped me get up off the bathroom floor in 2012. And a lot of what we did at the life coach school, as incredible as it was, just did not include this piece,
Yeah.
which is fine. That was the piece we were supposed to do over there. It's all amazing. But in realizing I get to create my own business, I get to create my own legacy, it can look any way I want. I can pull the best of the best from the life coach school, but I want all of this abundance and manifestation and money mindset piece. I want that too. And so putting all of that together has been an absolute game changer for me.
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean, and I hit six figures in July,
What? Yeah.
July of this year.
God.
July. And I'm not a bragger, but I'm saying that only in it was me saying it's not going to look like
Yeah.
anyone else.
Yep.
Full body yes on things that feel true to me, that
Yeah.
bring out the best in me.
Oh,
And this is what the result line is of that.
chills.
It's
You're
extraordinary.
not
I mean,
bragging. You're an example of what's possible because you're doing it in your own way. You're slowing down. You're trusting the full body yeses. You're bringing
Mhm.
manifestation and spirituality into it, along with all of the other magic that you know as a coach in terms of thought work.
Mm-hmm.
So awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. That's
Mm,
huge. So
mm,
inspiring. And thank you so much for sharing your journey of, really stepping into entrepreneurship and owning that and becoming it. And it's just an example for so many other people who have the same thought. Maybe it's not for me. I'm not salesy enough. I'm not this enough. I'm not that. So you're just such a great, beautiful inspiration for so many people. And,
mm,
I would love for people to hear about your coaching program and also, I think, importantly, your coaching certification program. Because
mm,
I've had a lot
mm,
of people who have come to me and said, Jamie, I want to become a coach. I want to bring this
mm.
into my life. Where'd you go? And I'm like, well, where I went is not right now, available. And the work that I do encapsulates a lot more than that. And I know
Yeah.
you bring a lot of the work that, that I do and that you're speaking of into your certification programs. Can you speak a
Hmm.
little bit to that and when you might be launching it next, how people can follow you, or if they want to coach with you,
Oh,
how they can do that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Love to. So I do work with one-on-one private clients, which I adore doing in a very customized, bespoke way where it's really, I don't have a set program, one size fits all, and just run people through it. It's very much catered towards what they want to work on and what they want to focus on. And we just co-create something extraordinary
Yeah.
together. So that's always available, and you can find out about that on my website, katiepulsifercoaching.com. And then the certification, I'll do another one in 2026, and it really came to be from my deep love and passion around training coaches to find their authentic way to coach. So not a way,
Yeah.
their way.
Yeah.
And the only and one of the ways I help do that is give them lots of resources and tools and that they can choose from to create a safe, ethical coaching practice that helps them meet their clients in the way that they want to. We focus a lot on being heart-led and compassionate, bringing a lot of kindness into the coaching conversation. It's tool rich, so there's plenty of things to grab, to use, to work on. But I do bring a lot of visioning work into it, identity work, manifestation work,
Yep.
because I just love the combination. I love the top-down approach to
Yep.
coaching that you and I were trained in, but I also love the sideways through and the bottom up and
Yes.
swirling like all the different ways that we
It's a
can
good way
help
to
a
put
human,
it.
yeah, help a human being understand themselves. And we need different tools at different times.
Yeah,
So I
it's
want to
true.
make the program is very versatile that way.
If you are listening and this feels like a yes, or if you've ever thought about getting trained as a coach, go get
Mm.
on Katie's wait list right now because it will change
Mm.
your life. I can attest to that. I mean,
Yeah.
I know just going through coach certification myself, it was one of the most life changing things that I did. It changed me on a personal level and then also gave me the tools to be able to go and help others do it. And it is been the most life changing career and so amazing. And so I just want to put that out there. If anyone's listening
Mm.
and feels called to be a coach, I literally couldn't think of a better person to train you than Katie Pulsifer because
Mm.
not only do you have the incredible experience of training thousands of coaches, but you have the heart, you bring so much into it. And so
Mm.
I'm so excited for whoever is in your next cohort.
Well, I appreciate that endorsement. That means so much. And I would also add that I intentionally keep the training small. Nothing's recorded, full access to me.
Yeah.
I'm in the classroom. Like, I want to do this side by side with people, whether you ever want to coach another human being or you just want to go through it for the experience of understanding how it can change your life for the better. Yeah, it's a wonderful experience.
Absolutely amazing. And we'll put all of this in the show notes, of
Mm.
course. Katie, thank you so much for being here and for sharing your
Mm,
magic with everyone and for being such a beautiful example. I am so happy to have you.
thank you. And I owe you a tremendous thank you for arriving in my inbox right at the right time. And I don't just reminding me of what used to be very important and now is like
Yeah.
it is undeniably part of how I want to live my life is the work that you do and having access to it. And so I just credit a lot of my success this year to you. So
Oh,
thank you.
thank you. I'm so grateful. Thanks, everyone.